What's up guys, my name is Matt from the Didacte team, and today I am thrilled because in this episode I'm talking to you about something, a concept that I really enjoyed and I think is underutilized within SMBs. We're talking about the skill gap analysis, but not the format that you probably know of, which is heavy, which is basically requires all of the resources within your business. We're talking about an express mode to the skill gap analysis benefits, to which you can apply by tomorrow. So if you've been running a business for quite some time, you probably know by now the concept of a skill gap analysis, which is basically benchmarking the level of skills you need in order to obtain the performance of the business and the skill level of your workforce as of today. A lot of businesses will kind of push that forward for different many reasons, different challenges and obstacles, but a lot of them, most if not all of them, are easily debunkable if you trust me on this one. So oftentimes there's going to be 2 or 3 main reasons why businesses will push that back. Reasons being they don't know where to start. They don't know how to tackle this project. The main reason I see, however, is always about resources and capacity. So the official way to run a thorough skill gap analysis will indeed take time and resources out of your operations. We all know by now, you and me both, that time is of the essence. So we have to find a way to gain 80% of the benefits with 20% of the resources and time in which we would normally invest for a formal skill gap analysis. This is why tomorrow you can't apply that. But today, I'm teaching you how to leverage the basic knowledge and the logic behind a skill gap analysis in an express mode so that you can benefit from 80% of the benefits from a formal format and about 20% of the resources and times that it would normally need, because there are some big opportunities behind a skill gap analysis. Opportunities. What are the opportunities with an express mode of the skill gap analysis? So they are very easy to understand. If you invest time and take care of your people's skills, productivity will go up, employee engagement will go up, and you will no longer be failing over and over your KPIs and objectives. So the intent behind this whole process is just to invest a little bit of time to increase the odds of success for your business. So let's dive in the framework and find out how this gets achieved. So if we dive in the framework, you'll see it's fairly easy, nothing too crazy to go about. So the first section is really about identifying our employee. So the thesis behind the express format of the skill gap analysis is to piggyback on the one-on-one meetings you already have, because I'm sure if I ask you to add more meeting to the schedule of the employee or even yours, you will not budge because you don't have that luxury. You don't have the capacity to open up space in most cases for new meetings. So we want to piggyback on the momentum of meetings that you already have. Oftentimes the one we'll see is the one-on-one, which is the example I've been using. So in your one-on-one meetings, you'll simply add a new layer of information and questions that you will ask and measure and follow up on. It's already a routine within the business, so the employee won't fight back against it. It's something that he already knows and he's fine with it. The first section is about documenting who the skill gap analysis is for, to what department, and towards what goal. So that can be identified with the employee or with the higher ups, depending on your situation. But the intent is to somewhat keep of a frame of discussion, because if I ask an employee what's wrong within the business, he can come up with a lot of different items, and this is going to be demotivating and it's not going to be helping anything. So if we can identify a performance indicator that we want to work on and build the conversation on that, it's going to be a lot more constructive and a better use of our time. So the blue section of the template is really about just being an active listener. What are the friction zones within your business or within your department or your job that's holding you back from peak performance? So just let your employee tell you everything he's got in mind about the thing that's just holding him back from being a top performer. Obviously, you cannot act on everything all at once. So you need to commit, and you need to get your employee to commit to a number one priority. You'll be working on one thing at a time. When you get to that point where you've identified the priority with your employee, this is no longer your plan. This is a teamwork kind of approach, collaboration. It is your plan as a duo. You're both into this. So once you've got the priority written down, you can finish up and wrap up your one-on-one. This is where your manager skill comes into play. You really need to dig deeper and figure out, okay, what's the skill at play that supports this priority? What's the number one skill that's best aligned with the thing that my employee wants to work on? From there, we'll expand that skill into what training can support that skill development, but also the resources. So oftentimes I can teach you something, but you'll need tools or something added in your environment to better leverage the learnings that you've just made. So it's both an investment of time, but also an investment in money and resources to maximize the return on investment that you've done with your employee. The last section is about measurability. Obviously, if we take time to listen to our people, act on it, we want to know, was that worth it or not? So we need to agree with an objective with our employee. So by when and what's the intent? If I'm about to invest in training and resources on you, what's the return on investment that I can expect? It doesn't have to be anything grandiose or very big, but it has to be actionable, reasonable, and measurable so that you put your employees in a winning position to make him open to the idea of running this whole exercise back for another loop to work on something else. The magic trick behind all of this approach, which is very simple as you've seen, is just leveraging one-on-one meetings and good collaboration with your employee to identify what we want to work on. The magic trick is to just double down on the opportunity. You're already committed to invest time and resources to develop the employee's skill. Might as well create a piece of content with it. That way, and be it under a video format, a PDF file or whatnot, it doesn't really matter. So long as you capture the training initiative so that you can leverage it in the future with either employees that are having a hard time just keeping up with the skill development or new hires to which you will help understand those are the standards in which we work. This is the way we operate. This is the level of skill that's expected of you to be at least on par with the rest of the team. This whole process is about identifying what's at stake in terms of skills, leveraging the collaboration with our employee to help us today, but also securing the future with the pieces of content that we'll be creating along the way. So as you do the exercises every month, every quarter or whatnot, you end up creating more and more content to which becomes the business knowledge encyclopedia, call it what you want. So basically the whole business expertise encapsulated within different pieces of content living in your learning management system down the road. And if that approach hasn't convinced you yet by the simplicity of the format, let me tell you something. 87% of SMBs have acknowledged that they're aware that they have a skill development problem. This means that as soon as you start acting on it, you're closer to being a leader in your industry. You're closer to that top 13% that's on par and optimal within its performance. So there's a big opportunity for you there to take the headway on the rest of your competitors. To wrap things up, so first step, we need to identify the key performance indicator we want to work on. Second step, we need to collaborate with our people. So we want them to be on board with the plan because they provided information to the plan. They basically led the plan by themselves. We're just acting on it. Third is to identify the priority and the means to support it on both sides. So the training side and resources side. Fourth step is to measure if we got a return on investment. So what was the objective? By when do we want to be better? And follow up with the employee after the training has been made to make sure that they got the best of it and they're aware that they're improving. That alone will motivate them. Fifth and last step, which is to me the most important, you want to document. This is a good way to progressively build a learning culture, progressively build learning assets within your business, and slowly start to build your learning management system and also secure your business moving in the future, no longer be dependable on strategic person within the business because everything's been written or captured on video to make sure that as soon as someone comes in the business, he's up to par with the rest of the team and he's not dragging anyone behind. If you're on board with that philosophy, then I invite you to check on our website or reach out to me and I'll make it easier for you to manage the priorities within departments and provide you with the priority matrix that we've built to make sure that it's easy for you and the rest of your team to figure out what are we working on, to what extent, in which department. So we're just trying to make things easier for you. I hope you're on board. I hope I convinced you.